All right, so I wanted to go over real quickly how to shine lights, shine textures through lights. So that can be kind of a fun effect. Okay, so we are going to use Arnold, and so I'm going to come up here to Arnold Lights and over to the area light and pull that out. I'm going to actually go through this and look through it. So I'm going to go to panels with the light selected and look through selected. And now I'm looking through that light. So I'm just going to angle the light to something like that. And I'm just going to go back to my main perspective view and just make it a little bit bigger. Cool. All right, so how to do this? Well, let's go to our color, click the little tab, and let's go to File, click the little folder, and I went and downloaded a flower that gave usage rights so that we could use that and test it out. Okay, cool. So that's loaded in. Click back on the light. So that's all loaded in through the color. So I'm going to set this to, let's do 10. And let's go ahead and click our little render button. It's not going to give us quite what we want right at first, and I'll show you what we need to do to fix that. So we'll let that render. See what's going on with that. Okay, so let's check our performance, Maya. Okay, I can barely see something there, so let's increase some of that intensity so we can rock and roll this a bit. That's 100. And render. Okay, maybe 100 is too much. Go a quarter of that, 25. Still might be too much. 15. Alright, cool. That's starting to feel a little bit better. Okay, but we can see that that texture is not coming through very well. So a couple things we need to do. One, this resolution, 512, is pretty low. So I'm going to put this at 4096. And that's still not going to do what we want, but I'll render that with a higher resolution. Okay, let's get that in there. Okay, I can see Maya is working. Okay, so what we need to do is take the spread, because the spread essentially blurs the color. So I'm going to take that and put the spread to 0 and click render again. Okay, let me just see what's going on with Maya. And now we can see we're starting to get an image cast on to our cube. Do something like that. Something like that. And take another render. Cool. Now, obviously, we're not seeing anything else because we don't have any other lights in the scene. So let's just go ahead and throw in a physical sky. And now we'll have this light competing with the physical sky, but at least it'll fill in. And this will feel like something that's not pure 100% that light, right? Because this feels like a texture at this point on it, like a surface shader. So now we get the feel that this block is now lit, but now we can kind of see through it, so it feels like it's being projected. And again, we can play around with the intensities, of our sky dome. We can here, let me do this. I don't want to see it in the background, I just want to see the cube. But we could come in here and we can play around with the intensity of this. Put it out at 0.5, render that, and we'll start to, we can kind of play around and dial all this in. Again, these flowers look a little hot, so we might be able to back that off on the intensity of the area light. Let's come in here, let's go to maybe 13. Save this and then we can compare. And then I'll probably stop the video because I don't want it to be too long. I just want to get the gist out there so you guys can start to play with it. But yeah, so right here I can see like this isn't like blown out wide anymore. So, you know, just dial this in. But this is kind of a cool little workflow. So we can actually shine images through a light onto objects and have it compete with other lights so that it actually feels like an actual projection in the real world. I'll go ahead and show you one more thing. Right now you can see the orientation of the texture is you know, kind of sideways. So well, a couple things, right? If I set my rotation to object mode, well, this could be one way that we do it, right? To where we rotate the light like that and render. The other thing too, keep in mind, like we could scale this light up and down, and it's going to affect, or it should affect that texture as well. But anyway, so we rotated the image that way. So now you can see, right now these flowers are right side up, right? As compared to a second ago, they were going this way. So now they're facing the right direction. Instead of it facing this way, they're facing up. Let me show you another way that you could go about that. So let's put that back. If we go into our hypershade, oops, don't want to dock that. Make sure I'm getting the right light here. So I'm gonna, with that light selected, I'm just gonna click these double arrows and it's just gonna grab that light with that flower image. Well, so this is the light, this is the image, and then this controls how the image is being projected, right? Like we could duplicate it, we could, right, or only make it cover half an X or half an Y, or rotate it, and that's actually what we're gonna do. Or you could repeat the UVs, so we could have it like tile all over the place, all sorts of stuff. So for this, let's just rotate it. Let's try 90. Okay, and so that should, since we rotated the light back, right, the light would shine like this, but now we've rotated the texture, so we should get something kind of like that again. Just another way that we could go about it. But this is a really nice way to shine projector or shine textures onto things. Oh, looks like we probably need to go -90, right? Because flowers are pointing upside down, so we could go -90. But as you can see, this is kind of cool because we can project this image onto 3D objects as a feel of a light. All right, I'll give this one last render a go, and there we go. So as you can see, we've got all these different ways that we can kind of manipulate that. So anyways, hopefully this is helpful.